Hi, all. Hey. Take two. There you all are. Sorry for the confusion and the chaos. It's a Wednesday. You know what that means? That's right. Our week's basically over. Hard stuff's done. You ready? It's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. 3 days till it's on. It's 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm gone. Da 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 da. I was down, pushed around, feeling just like a pinball, out of control. But I got dreams, simple schemes. I'm gonna run like a gambler, hard on the road. Come on, it's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. Every clock is counting down. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm fine. Da 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 da. I know you fight all your might goes to holding the anvil off of your back. But ease your mind in 3 days' time. You're gonna fire like a piston, hard on the track. Come on, 'cause it's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. 3 days till it's on. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm gone. Come on. And it's 3 days till we roll on the weekend. Every clock is counting down. Yeah. 3 days till I coast like a demon. 3 days till I'm found. Da, 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 da. I'm gone. 3 days till I'm gone. Well, okay. Hi. Hanging here in Chelsea, Allie's in Cali. Rainy, gray, drizzly day. It's nice to be with you. Gonna play some of your leftovers from Monday's request night. Gonna share a new old tune with you I've never shared before. Might even try a tribute I've never played before. So exciting. I mean, we don't have a lot of special effects here at the gatherings, so I might as well at least work on playing new stuff for you when I can. I'm going to play a leftover called At Least the Boat Ain't Paddling Me. Also a new song since the Gathering series. You may or may not recall last Thursday, I was hanging with the band on the couch at Alex's, and we worked on some extra lines to this song. Yep. So, here we go. Now, see how I do. For those of you who haven't heard this song before, this is the hardest song I've ever written to try to sing, and it was a really fun song to try and write. Here we go. We'll see. Yeah, you guys got it. Now, the real question is, can you get them in order? Is the real question. Man, I'm taking my licks. You know I done stirred the pot. I dug myself into a deep dark hole. I stirred them muddy waters. I guess you could say that I hit rock bottom. Shared a dream, yes, sir, I got it. You're looking at the shell of a man who played the fool on a foolproof plan. Well, I'm as ragged as a guy can be. At least the boat ain't battling me. Well, it's a real tearjerker, but you heard it before. A typical brush with disaster, I was cut to the core. No one situation, an act of desperation. Not for lack of trying in the pan where I was flying. Had a razor, it was edgy, added fuel to the fire. Cost an arm and a leg, I didn't even kick the tires on a river of lies, hanging me out to dry by the skin of my teeth, by the mud of my eye. Now I may be too blind to see. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Well, now I'm reaping what I sowed in the bed that I made, taking all my lumps from the hand that I played. They caught me red-handed by the scruff of the neck. They spun me like a broken record when I tried to stack the deck. Now I'm knocked out, dragged out, thrown up against the wall, wrung ass over tea kettles. They knocked me by the balls, stabbed in the back, knocked down, bloodied and beaten, chewed up and spit out. You know my words, they all got eaten, man. They played me like a symphony. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Yeah, I was a game set match, man, a 7-10 split. A tangled web with dirty laundry, should've known just when to quit. Was a buzzer beating, crow eating, photo finish, split the finish. Left out in the cold with just my shit eating Greenwich. Down and out for the count, man, they say I had it coming. I was burning both the ends, oh yeah, the engine was a humming. The tailor got the tattle, tossed directly from the saddle. Past the red line and the herring up the creek without the paddle. I might be adrift at sea. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Well, I caught the paper tag about a tan and let the sleeping dogs lie. Led the lamb up to the slaughter, pulled the wool over my eyes. I tried to go die. Put my eggs up in the basket, counted them all before they hatched. Heck, got my tongue out of the bag and up and off the camel's back. Now my bonnet is buzzing cause the bees are still inside. I feel the sting, nowhere to run to, better believe nowhere to hide. Tried to lead the horse to water, taught the old dog something new. And then the chicken with its head cut off, and then came on the roost. Oh man, I'm barking on the wrong dang tree. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Well, it was a rotten tomato, a brain face, and acid, a damn potato, the lettuce was sausage, a chewable pie I got put in my place. I got served with the egg on my face, like the salt and the wound or the beer that was spilled was a tough one to swallow, the bitterest pill. But I took all my medicine wiser and older, revenge was the dish, and the dishes were colder. I was beat to a cup, pulp plate, I was beat to a pulp, cut shreds and left twisting like runaway train or a broad double fist in the. I've left before looking, the ship was a sinking, the rats were all fleeing, the flea bag was thinking, the past was a travel I stupidly chose, and I spat in my face when I cut off my nose. Caught all the corners, got kicked to the cook, I told them the pieces disturbing. Talk about your flight, old fleet. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Insult to injury. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Say whatever will be, will be. At least the boat ain't paddling me. Okay, not the best ending. And I got the 3 tags wrong at the end. Talk about your flight or fleet and insult to injury. And then I do not possess a remedy. No shit. Well, kind of hard to do the call and response, I know, via chat board. But it was a great effort. A chat board that is literally 30 seconds behind the song. Very hard to do. But as promised, I will keep working on that song and hopefully continue to get a little bit better at playing it for you. Oh, man. Let's see. Sight for sore eyes, running into you here. Hearts beating fast, having you so near. Don't wanna go, but I can't stay. Maybe just one drink for old time's sake. But let's stick to how you been, how was your day? 'Cause there's some things we don't need to say. Like you still have my heart, like we could last this time. It was on my phone, you should be mine. Like let's try again, we can make it work. They've all been sent, they've all been earned. Wasted work. You never looked so good to me. I'm thinking about the things that'll never be. before we see regret. In the morning light, let's say goodnight and just leave quiet. And stick to how you've been, how was your day. 'Cause there's some things we don't need to say. Like you still have my heart, like we could last this time. It was all my fault, you should be mine. Like let's try again, we can make it work. They've all been said that they won't be hurt. Wasted words. Let's think to how you been, how was your day. 'Cause there's some things we don't need to say. Like you still have my heart, we could last this time. It was all my fault, you should be mine. Like let's try again, we can make it work. They've all been said, they've all been heard. All that I take back, all that I don't do, I will never be the man I was with you. You may still be with him, and I may be with her. It's you I'll always love. It's wasting words, wasted words. That's a sad song. All right, you want to hear something new? You ready for something new? I say this is something new, but believe it or not, this is about as old as it gets for me. This was my senior, before my senior year of college. This was me working on the farm. So this must have been 1998. One of the I was working on a dairy farm at the time. I felt like I needed to, and I've told you stories from the farm before. Told you stories about the little bar in Cookstown, Ontario I used to go to. I told you stories about getting hired on. Told you the stories that led to the cow song and the corn song. That's right. Well, in a dairy farm, if you have dairy cows, they have to be milked twice a day. We had a herd of about, on this farm, it was about a 600-acre farm. We had a herd of 60 cows. At any given point, about 40 of them were milking. And I remember the first day that I worked on a farm. Keith, the farmer there that owned the farm, it was usually just me and Keith working every single day. He went through the process. He was teaching me the process of milking a herd of 40 cows. And the one thing he said, each cow had a tag on her ear with a number on it. But we didn't know the cows by their number. We knew them by their name, as a matter of fact. Keith had a name for every cow. The deal is, it was one of the ways that he tracked the lineage of his cows. As a farmer, as a dairy farmer, you want to keep breeding your cows so they become better milkers, so they're healthier. That's why the cow is not really a natural animal. It's not an animal that could survive in nature on its own. It's been genetically modified, not in a laboratory, but through breeding generation after generation. It's funny, it's interesting. I got to experience some of that, right? It would be time he would decide one of his cows would be ready for that cow to have a calf, and she'd bring a breeder in, and he would describe some of the features of that cow. Maybe that cow had, weak legs, but a really good milk-producing udder. Well, they would try. The breeder there would literally be a catalog of cows, the penthouse of cows, right? Of bulls, I should say, not cows, right? And the breeder would say, well, here's this bull, and here's this bull, and here are the different features. And the farmer would pick the bull that he wanted to inseminate the cow that he wanted to get impregnated. And anyways, when that calf came, that calf would be named by the first letter of the calf. The first letter of the name of the mother's name would become the first letter of the name of the calf's name. So, right? If a cow's name was Mildred, her calf would be Marcy, right? For example. Actually, there was a Marcy in there. Believe it or not, I mean, they all just looked like cows to me at first. And it looked like cows. When he told me that each one of them had a name and that I would, get to know them by name, I was a little skeptical, but of course, each one of those cows had a personality. Marcy, who I mentioned, she was a very sweet one. I remember her because she had a calf. She had a calf. She had a calf and then accidentally stepped on the calf right after it was born, and that calf was so the whole back legs were broken, and they couldn't get up. And when I saw that, I was pretty upset, and the farmer came up to me and he said, "Well, there's still some hope." And there was some tall grass behind the barn, and he put the calf in the tall grass. It was really tall, so he couldn't see the calf. He just just lay the calf in the tall grass behind the barn. And it was my job over the next months to bring a bucket of milk out to the little calf. So I would do it every single day. I would walk out behind a bar after my chores, and I would feed this little calf this little bucket of milk. Actually, eventually, over my time, that little calf got better. Until one day, I went out there, and I was feeding it a bucket of milk, and she stood up. And I went running into the farm. I said, "Hey, I think that little calf's gonna make it." And the farmer said, "You know what? Good job, Adam. You get to name that cow now. Her mom is named Marcy, so it's got to be an M name, and so I named her Little Martha from the Allman Brothers song. That was my only cow naming experience. But it was really interesting and fascinating to think that each different cow had a completely different personality. Now, I wouldn't say completely different. I mean, they're still cows, right? I would wake up, my alarm would go off at 2:45, something like that. And I would walk, I'd get on and I was, after a little while, I was in charge of the milkings. And the cows were down in the pasture, so the first thing I would have to do, and it was early, right? 3 a.m, man. It was still dark. I was miserable. Nobody wants to be awake at 3 a.m. No one wants to be waking up at 3 a.m, that's for damn sure. And I would trudge down to the pasture, where they'd usually be waiting by the fence. It's an electrified fence, so they wouldn't get out of the pasture, and it was my job to open up the fence. And I'll tell you what, there is no worse way in this world. There's no worse thing, in my opinion. I don't want to say that, but it's pretty shitty to get woken up by accidentally shocking yourself on an electric fence made for cows. That is not a fun. That would happen to me sometimes when I wasn't paying attention, but usually I was careful enough to open up the fence, and the cows would come into the barnyard. They knew it was up. They knew it was feeding time and milking time. And they'd wait in the barnyard, and then my job would be then, once they were all in the barnyard, and sometimes some of them were scattered. Sometimes I had to chase them around the field and get them to come into the barnyard. Not all of them were ready for their morning meal. Once I got them all in the barnyard, then it was my job to open up the barn and bring them into their stalls. Now, they each had specific stalls that they were supposed to go into. This is why it was really important to know each one of their names, because, every single day I had to mix a different nutritional supplement for each one of the cows based on whatever the farmer felt like that cow needed. And that's why his farm was one of the best producing dairy farms in the county. So I would bring them in, usually 1 or 2 at a time, as I got better, And some of the cows would go right to their stalls. They knew which stalls there were, and I'd hook them up into their stall, and then I'd go out and get the next cows. Some of these cows, no matter how many times I brought them in, they would not know their stall. And it would always be a challenge. Like, I'd have to kind of chase them around the barn until they got into their stalls. And by stalls, I mean this. There's a rectangular barn, right? A rectangular barn, and in the middle of that rectangle, there's a little area where you can walk down the middle and you can put feed on, and so there's a pathway around the outside of the barn, there's a pathway in the middle, and then there are these just metal framed stalls that the cows could walk into the metal frame and face the inside of the barn. So when they were all inside, you had 20 cows on each side, all facing in, right? All facing in and eating their food. And then it was easy for you to walk into each stall, and there were pipes up on top, and so you could milk the cows and then change the apparatus out, milk the next cow, milk the next cow. And of course, behind the stalls, there was a little trough where they'd have to step over to get into the stalls, and that was the trough that would catch the poop, because there was a lot of it that would happen. And the worst thing ever that would happen was when I was bringing in a cow and chasing them into their stall. Some cows, inevitably, no matter what I did, right, would as soon as they walked into the barn, it was like a trigger, right? They would just start pooping all over the place, huge mess, and I'd have to clean it up. The worst. And as you get better at handling the cows, you know when their tail lifts, they're gonna poop. And if you can grab onto that tail when it's lifting and give it a little twist, just a light little twist, right? It gets them to like squeeze up. And that's how you keep them from pooping on their way to their into their stall. And some cows were very good at avoiding at pooping when they got into the barn, and also walking or running fast enough so that I couldn't get their tail in time. Yep, that was what my mornings were. That was my morning. Anyways, this is one of my earliest songs. Now, this is probably, and I was just inspired by my experience, on the farm. This is probably, and I've talked to some of you about how my songwriting has taken some twists and turns over. This is the kind of I picture this as like, I picture this song being played with like a bunch of jazz cats, right? A really, you know what I mean? Upright bass, smoky atmosphere, right? Okay, here's the song. Now you got it pictured. One of my first. Watch out for Nicole. She shits all over the place. Watch out for Nicole. Shits all over the place. Oh, you can tell when she lifts that tail. She gonna shit right in your face. When you walked into the room, you had mischief in your eyes. You smiled at me so sweet, but I saw that, but I saw through that disguise. You lifted up her tail and shit right down her thighs. Watch out for Nicole. She shits all over the place. Watch out for Nicole. She shits all over the place. You can tell when she lifts that tail. She gonna shit right in your face. Watch out for Nicole. As you may or may not have guessed, I did not have a guitar when I was writing that song. It was just the song that I sang to myself every morning when Nicole was pooping all over me. Probably one of the classier songs I've ever written. Watch out for Nicole. Okay. No rules on what a song needs to be. It's funny, right? It was on that farm, for those of you that don't know, that I decided to become an artist, a musician. I decided that I was going to live my life through the songs that I was writing. Not particularly that song. I mean, obviously, I feel very comfortable telling stories and sharing stupid stuff. Because we have spent so many days together, gatherers. But for those of you maybe joining us for the very first time, one of the things I enjoy doing during these nights is playing ideas of songs and parts of songs and sketches, songs that never supposed to actually be publicly consumed pieces of art. I really admire, too, artists that break songwriting rules or that write songs by their own rules. They don't break rules because there are no rules, but they make their own, they just make it up. And in their uniqueness somehow taps into something that is universally connects us all, right? And another thing I've really loved about the Gathering series is you all have, because we're together so often, you challenge me to work on new songs or share old songs, right? Or share songs that were never really songs. But you also, because of you all, I've been inspired to kind of dig into some of the songs written by artists that have inspired me over the years, that have shaped me, right? Artists who have done cool things, songs that have meant something to me, songs that have blown my mind, and the process of thinking about those songs to share them with you, the process of learning those songs and digesting them is something. It makes me a better songwriter, I think. It gives me more perspective, and it's, anyways, I don't know if I would otherwise. It makes me a better musician, and that's because of you all, and it's something that I'm grateful for every single day. So with that in mind, I thought that maybe I would try this tribute that I've been working on a little bit, and I don't know how it's going to go. It might go well. Usually when I work on a tribute, and by tribute for some of those, I call them tributes. When I cover somebody else's song. One thing I really try to do is think about how I would sing that song as me, not try to sing that song as the artist who wrote that song. Right? Because that version already exists. And I believe that music is a living art form. It should always be changing and evolving over time. And obviously a new artist that is singing a song, I think it's great when it sounds like a different artist singing that song, a different interpretation, right? So anyways, I never thought I would learn this song, but I was kind of writing something over the last couple nights I've been working on it, and it's got these pretty chords that was really speaking to me. And as I was playing it, I just really, I heard this song in some of those chords, and so I just thought I would, well, okay. You've got your boat, you've got your chain tied to me tight. Tie me up again. Who's got their claws in you, my friend? Into your heart I beat again. Sweet like candy to my soul, sweet you rock, sweet you roll, lost for you. I'm so lost for you. You come crash into me, baby, and I come into if I've gone overboard, I'm begging you to forgive me in my haste, as I'm holding you so close to me. You come crash into me, baby, and I come into to you. In a boy's dream, in a boy's dream. Touch your lips just so I know. In your eyes, love will grow. Some bones and crazy for you. If you come crash into me, baby, and I'm coming to you. To you, coming to you, coming to you. Hike up your skirt a little more, show your world to me. Hike up on your skirt a little more, show the world to me in a boy's dream. In your boy's dream. Oh, I watch you there in the window and I stare. I would usually, so I think I forgot to say this before I started, but I would usually work on a song a little longer and a little harder to make it sometimes it's like, okay, sometimes it's like when you buy a new shirt, you need to send it through the washing machine a couple times. Just so it loosens up a little bit. Does that make sense? Just softens up. Can fit to your body a little easier. So, it's such a beautiful song. And it's hard. It's hard for us acoustic musicians, and I'll tell you why. Us acoustic songwriters. Because anyone who was, playing an acoustic guitar and writing songs anytime from, 1995 to 2010, Dave Matthews was the guy you were compared to. And so, for that reason, it always, I never thought to kind of tribute one of his songs. Not to mention, he's a super unique player. I mean, that song does not have a traditional structure at all. And it's all Dave's songs are very, very much just Dave, right? Like he is this unique, the way he sings, the way he plays, the way he forms songs. Every single song is totally like bizarre and works in his own unique way. So for that reason too, it's hard to think about taking a Dave Matthews song, and it's hard to picture it in another setting. for me. But I just started playing that, shoot, Isn't that beautiful? God damn it. That is just a beautiful guitar riff, And the other thing that I love about that song, I mean, there's like 17 different things that I love about that song, right? It is, right? It's a song, for those of you that don't know, right? It's a song about a boy fantasizing about sex in a dream, right? And I mean, it's very, very hard, right? If you can picture it, right? It's very, very hard to picture a sentence like, I'll come into you being sweet and not, right, like really graphic. I mean, he's speaking very graphically about sex, but the way he does it is so innocent. It's got the innocence of this boy. The writing is so brilliant, right? And it's not even that he's singing like a boy would sing, right? Like, it's just his words and the form, the way his sentences are formed. They're almost like little images of dreams picked out, almost little phrases and little emotions coming from the mouth of this boy. It really is so believable. It's so brilliant. So brilliant. Yeah. Anyways, as soon as I started playing around with it, I was like, oh man, I should dig into this song, because it is incredible. Learning a song like this, or playing around with it even, or just sharing it with y'all, or talking about it. Well, that's what music's all about. That's what makes us better musicians. It makes us better listeners. It makes us better fans. Sharing music, thinking about music. The process of listening to music and thinking about music and talking about music, and the process of playing music is not that far apart. What I'm doing and you all are doing each night in this gathering, it's not that far apart. It's all engaging in art. And anytime I'm engaging in art, I feel like my world, my life, and my heart is a little bit more full. So I can't imagine what this year would have been like off the road. If I didn't have you all to share this stuff with. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the wind at our backs. May it always blow steady wherever you roam. May it turn when you're ready to carry you home. May it keep you ahead of the rain. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the heavens above. Some say it's a glimpse of God's great design. Some say it's the science of all things combined. May we look up and always feel wonder. Here is to us all that we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to them in good company. Here's to the drink that we share. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to this time that we have. Moments pass lightly, won't come again. May our lives all burn brightly right up to the end. May we live them with joyous abandon. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the end of the day. Let us drink to the work when the working is through. Let us drink one to me. Let us drink one of you. Let us drink one to those who aren't with us. Here is to us, and none we see is to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to them in good company. Here's to the future. Here's to the past. Let us drink one down slow. Let us drink one down fast. Let us drink one as if this night is our last. Here's to the drink that we share. Oh, here's to the drink that we share. Hey, before we go,
Small act of love at a time.
One small.
I believe that we can change the world, one small act of kindness at a time.
One small act of love at a time.
One small act of patience at a time.
One small act of acceptance at a time.
One small act of courage at a time.
One small act of support at a time.
One small act of gratitude.
One small act of strength
One small act of bravery at a time.
One small act of friendship.
One small act of giving at a time.
One small act at a time.
One small act of goodwill at a time.
One small act of mindfulness.
Just one small act of compassion at a time.
Of community at a time.
One small act of solidarity.
One small act of peace.
One small act of justice.
One small act of brotherhood at a time.
One small act of determination.
One small act of understanding at a time.
One small act of unity at a time.
One small act.
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 Please stay safe. Keep on looking out for one another. And I'll see you tomorrow.